you have the problem where, you know, if you can kind of pay anything at all, people in California who pay, say, $350,000 for a house, which would be modest. It's now worth maybe, if you're lucky, $200,000, or maybe 175. Their incentive is to walk away from the house. And but lots of people have integrity and they're reluctant to do that, and they try to make the payments. They hear and they read in the newspapers that there are programs to help people who are having trouble staying in their homes. You go on and you go to apply for one of those, you find you don't qualify. The reason why you don't qualify is because you're paying the bank. You're making payments. So what incentive does that give you? You know, your incentive. And in fact, there are people who are getting into these programs by just stopping payment to the bank. Then you get the bank's attention. Then they're in default. Now they qualify for a program. So one of the unintended consequences of that program is to convert honest people into dishonest people. Or people who don't, who are honest in the sense they like to fulfill their obligations. But all the incentives are telling them, don't fulfill your obligation. You're better off if you don't fulfill your obligation. Whereas most of the world we live in, you're better off if you fulfill your obligations. You have a good reputation. Okay, that's what people will do. So anyway, that's what kind of got Steve and I into this. And actually, one of the insights in looking at the crisis that I got, that I didn't have before, even though I knew a lot about these two different kinds of markets. What I never realized was the incredible parallels in the world. When there's a recession, when there's a depression, when the economy's in trouble, where's it coming from? It's not coming from haircuts, hamburgers, and other kinds of services. It's coming from asset markets. And you look a little closer, and what are the two really big kinds of asset markets? Long-lived, the kind of stuff that lasts a really long time. It's stocks and houses. Okay? Claims on firms are out there, and even if the company doesn't last 100 years, it's whoever buys it goes on. And maybe its products may change, but the claims on that cash flow continue to live. So it's very long-lived assets. And then Steve and I realized, in looking at, thinking this through, I'm just thinking out loud, I'm telling you out loud kind of thinking we went through. Okay. And even if, in a way, there was nothing new here, we were seeing it in a different way. Okay, and that's very important. Very important how you see these things. We were seeing this contrast and realizing that the important difference is whether, and the stability and behavior of a commodity in the world, an important difference is whether you could retrade it or not. And if you look at the gross national or gross domestic product and its behavior during recessions, the part of the GDP that really holds up well are these non-durable consumer goods, services, non-durable. That's the component of, except for the Great Depression. That's kind of an exception, because even that class of commodity took a big hit in the Great Depression. Didn't take much of a hit in this current recession. I think it probably would have if the central bank hadn't just bought all the junk there was in the world. In the U.S. private economy, took that junk off the balance sheet of banks. And no one thinks that's a good thing. The question is, what else are you going to do given the situation you're in? That's the crucial question. People who criticize that need to say what they would have done. Given that all the mistakes have been made up to that time, you can't rerun and remake the world so that you've got an easy decision there. The lesson there is do something much earlier about the problem that's developing, because down the line you're not going to have any options left. You're going to be able to, all your choices are all going to be among really bad options. And that's the situation we were in 1929-30, and it's the situation we were in basically 2006 and 2007. Those are very, very, I think, very comparable. Let's see. So the original idea we had was we want to do some experiments that would deal with this kind of an intermediate case. Well, that's gone very slow because it's taken so much of our time following the crisis, and it's become so fascinating. And also we realized that in macroeconomics and monetary economics, we weren't experts. I got news for you. There ain't any experts. None. There aren't any experts. Ben Bernanke found out what was happening by watching markets. No one in that shop with the latest econometric models and the latest data, no one in that shop foresaw what would happen. Look, I invite you to look, you can search on the Federal FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee, press releases. See what the press release was in August 7, 2007. And then the one August 10, 2007. 3 days later, wow, all of a sudden, sunshine has turned to rain. And the only difference is the mortgage market collapsed, the derivatives market collapsed. An outdoor grill in my house. And beautiful work, okay? And with him he's got and he speaks English, and with him is a team of people, none of them can speak English. And when he leaves, he says, "Who's doing your yard?" And trimming, and he's got all kinds of suggestions.